Good evening, good evening, good evening. Just in case you're joining me for the very first time, I am Glaze Gibbs, and this is my ministry. Um, for any one of you that's joining me for the very first time, hey, what I want you to do is subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube page, Glaze Gibbs, my channel. Follow me on DM, Glaze Gibbs, on Instagram. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about a story today. The story we're going to talk about is something that I did discuss and made a video on the InfoMind channel, and something that not too long ago, probably a few months ago, my distant cousin Sammy-O did a couple of interview on this story. And first of all, let's get started. This is Sammy-O right here. This is my cousin Sammy-O. He's like my distant cousin. I don't know how it worked. He's not my first or second cousin. He's probably like my fourth or fifth cousin, and he got into a beef. He got into a beef at the world famous Apollo Theater. This is where he got into a beef at the Apollo Theater. And he got into a beef over something that this man right here, okay, at one point in time on the InfoMind channel, I call him World, but his real name is Alby. Alby from the Bronx. He was making, money back there like everybody else out there in the street hustling. And, from my understanding, from the story, Sammy-O supposed to have approached, Alby at the Apollo Theater based upon what Alby supposed to have say about him. Long story short, Alby is there. Kevin Chiles is there, along with Alpo. So all these individuals there when Sammy-O confront, Alby. That's Kevin Chiles and Diddy. Once again, that is Kevin Chiles, one of the biggest players back then from Harlem. But anyway, when Sammy-O, approached Alby over something that Alby had said to this girl pertaining to Sammy. I guess he wanted to have sex with one of Sammy's girls, and Sammy didn't appreciate it. So anyway, right now is when Sammy-O confronted Alby in the Apollo Theater in front of everybody, Sammy-O asked him, hey, look, is it true that you telling this chick something about me? And, whatever they was talking about, the negative. And Alby admitted. Alby said, yes, I did say that. So Sammy-O, I guess, like I'm saying, just got mad, couldn't help himself, and he hooked off, and he, supposedly knocked Alby out. So once he knocked Alby out, I guess he got out of there. I guess Alby, guys right now is start paging each other or paging a friend or his crew, letting them know what just took place. And right now they supposed to have been looking for Sammy. They supposed to came after Sammy-O. So anyway, long story short, Sammy-O got in contact with me because, like I said, once again, he's like my distant cousin. So he came down from, uptown, came down to my Cypress Hill headquarters, and he got me. So he started telling me what was the problem. Like this guy, right now want to kill him, and automatically that's family. Regardless whether he's my fourth, fifth, sixth, 10,000 cousin, it doesn't matter. Family's family, and you know what? If I can protect them, if I can take care of my family, if I can squash some beef or whatever I need to do to make sure that nothing happened to my family at that present time, that's what I was going to do. So anyway, when Sammy came and got me, we went uptown. So when we went uptown, I had this guy right here. That's one of my right-hand man. This is another shot at him. Okay? Here it is. These guys, that was part of the Eminem crew. These guys, like I told you right now, where it's like, I don't know, like to me, I stopped them from going to Manhattan and got down with the Eminem crew, hustling, selling drugs. And don't get me wrong, I had these guys following me all for the wrong reason. But nevertheless, we went up there. Me and this guy right here on my right, we went up there with Sammy-O, period. Okay, first stop, what's Kevin Chiles sneaker store? So we stopped at Kevin Chiles sneaker store, and when we stopped there, we went inside. Now, when we went inside, there was a guy behind the counter, and he was acting all like DJ Flex, all nervous. So basically right now, because don't get me wrong, when my guys came in there, guess what? They was prepared. Like they came in with, Uzi wrapped around their neck with army fatigue on. So with that being said or whatever, when they went out there and they got the army fatigue on, they got the Uzi strapped around their neck, what wound up happening was, like I said, hold on, look, we're a customer. I said, let me buy something. Let me get some socks. Let me get some underwears. Let me get some sneakers, sweats. So I spent a couple $100, saying just to ease this guy, to stop him from being nervous of doing the wrong thing, causing us to react a certain way that we didn't want to. Plus, that was an intended target. Anyway, what happened was Kevin Chow was not in the store at the time. He was nowhere around. So I guess the guy that worked for Kevin Chow, he wound up paging Kevin. And when he paged Kevin or whatever, I guess Kevin and Sammy, like I'm saying right now, exchanged word, and he basically supposed to have told Sammy where we could find Alby. So here it is. We left the sneaker store. When we left the sneaker store, we headed to the Bronx. Alby and his brother supposed to own, I guess a bar, hangout spot up in the Bronx. So as we got up there to the Bronx, got out the car, me and my guys, and Sammy. So as we got the car, I saw the guy. Sammy said, that's him right there. So when Sammy told me, that was Alby in the street, saying right now I'm trying to go to his car. Basically right now, I stopped him. I said, yo, my man, let me talk to you, whatever. So Alby in response said, no, y'all guys coming and looking for me, y'all gonna kill me. I said, hold up, wait a minute, man. So what I had to do, I stopped. And what I did is I had on sweats, I had on my bulletproof vest jewelry. So I pull up, my shirt to show him, look, I don't have a gun. I don't have no weapon. What I want to do is I want to go back in the bar, let me and you talk one-on-one. So anyway, right now is Alby granted me that opportunity to go back in the bar to talk to him about the whole situation. As we in the bar and we talking, I said, look, man, here it is. You and Sammy got in the beef. Y'all used to be real cool. He said, yeah, that was my man. We was real cool or whatever. He said, I said, y'all got into a beef. He said, yeah. He said, man, look, what the hell you would do if somebody would punch you in your face, broke your gazelle in front of everybody, knock you out in the Apollo Theater? What would you do? I say, first of all, you're not me and I'm not you. And second of all, hopefully I would have had enough, sense. Temperance would get us in trouble. Pride would keep us there. Hopefully right now that would have happened to me. I would have had enough sense knowing that I couldn't do something and get away with it. So I would have, for the time being, squash it. But nevertheless, what wound up happening was with that whole situation, what took place is as I'm talking to him, I said, well, how much was your gazelles? He told me $500. So I went in my pocket and I gave him 5 $100 bill. And I told him, I said, look, man, I really need you to squash this beef with my cousin Sammy. You know what I'm saying? Period. I said, because once again, if you kill Sammy, Sammy gonna be dead and you're gonna get 25 to life. I said, guess what? So it's no winner. So the man looked at me, you know what I'm saying, right now, and I said, look, this is what I want you to do. If you squash the beef, this is who I am. I am Brian Glaze Gibbs. If you squash the beef, if you need anybody hit except for Sammy, I am in your pocket. I said, let me know. Here it is. How can I help you? I said, if you squash the beef, ask around who's Brian Glaze Gibbs. I said, if you need heroin, if you need cocaine, whatever you might need, I can help you. Let me know. Only thing I want you to do, you got to squash the beef with Sammy. So here it is. We went back and forth, you know what I'm saying? So he asked for Sammy to come in. Sammy came in, and him and Sammy started talking or whatever. And what they did was they came up with a positive solution. They resolved that situation. Because once again, as I told him, if he kills Sammy, guess what's going to happen? Sammy dead. And then right now he's facing 25 to life in prison. So they both lose. Nobody won in that situation. So to me, if I can give somebody $500 to squash a beef, and not only that, I gave him that money because it wasn't nothing. And why? Even back then, I was able to think, out of intellect, opposed to allow my emotion to supersede my intellect. So I was able to squash something for $500. But the key was, at that time, Alby didn't have a choice. Because if Alby would have told me back then, look, I can't squash the beef, when the time comes, I'm going to get Sammy, then I was going to have to do what I had to do. Because once again, I was not going to let nobody harm my cousin. I was not going to let this guy tell me, look, this situation is still going to be ongoing. When he get right or he's in position and he catch Sammy off guard, he's going to take him out. So to me, that was not going to happen. So once he accepted my offer, I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Once he accepted my offer, I was pleased with it. He convinced me that he wasn't going after Sammy, that the beef was over with. And listen, here it is. Look what most of the beef was back then over women. guys arguing over petty stuff, and yet and still they willing to take each other life, man. Once again, guys, I am Brian Glaze Gibbs. This is my story. This is my ministry. Crime doesn't pay. If I, Brian Glaze Gibbs, can change, anybody can change. Follow me once again on Instagram, Brian Glaze Gibbs. Check out my YouTube channel. Subscribe, Brian Glaze Gibbs. And for your signed copy of the Brian Glaze Gibbs story, Beyond Lucky, email me, Brian, Brian, Gibbs, Gibbs, 1201 at yahoo.com. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.